Lots of crooked numbers in the column today. 8-8 each team with 10 hits, and now already the Cubs using their third pitcher. It'll be right-hander Bob Scanlan.
Scanlan 2-5 with an ERA of 4.99. The ERA a whole lot better before the last appearance against the Dodgers, if you remember, in the 13th inning when they put a 5 spot on him. 52 innings, 57 hits, 5 home runs, 19 walks, and 30 strikeouts. And now the game belongs to Bob Scanlan as we're knotted at 8 heading into the 6th inning.
Opponents are hitting .289 against Scanlan this season. Here's the hottest Pirate hitter today. Here's one more look at that play we talked about a minute ago. Ball just rolling foul, but Sandberg was out anyway. That ball hit Garcia, and he's hit 2 home runs here today. It got him on the left hand. Kent Bickerstaff, the Pirate trainer, out to look at Carlos Garcia.
This one sails well up and in, and Garcia cannot get the left hand out of the way. And Jimmy Leland coming out to take a look at his young second baseman.
Well, you can only wonder with Garcia already having a couple of home runs today. The Pirates were involved in an altercation yesterday. Pete Incaviglia had hit 2 home runs on Saturday night for the Phillies. Hit one in his first at bat in yesterday's Phillies win. The next time up, Incaviglia got hit. It actually hit the end of the bat as Leland looking out. And there might be some kind of a warning. I find that hard to believe at this point.
Well, that one wasn't all that inside. Now, it was up, there's no doubt, and it was inside enough to hit Garcia. But it wasn't like, a foot or 2 feet inside. So it looks like the umpires, at least to this point, have decided not to warn Bob Scanlan, Jim Lefevre, and Jim Leland. Boy, anytime a hitter gets hit in the hand, you really have to worry about a broken wrist or any type of broken bones in the hand. That's really one of the most devastating injuries any hitter can suffer.
Jay Bell now the batter. In this 8-8 game, Scanlan will throw to first. Getting back to Incaviglia very quickly. When he got hit his next time up, they ruled it a foul ball. He hangs his left hand just off the end of the bat like a lot of power hitters will do. It was called a foul ball, but Incaviglia clearly got hit on that finger that was hanging over the end of the bat. He started to walk up to first base thinking it was ruled not a foul ball but being hit by a pitch, then had a few words with the man on the mound, Steve Cook. And the bench is empty. No punches were thrown. They emptied again later on. Runner going. It's off the glove. The tag and the throw. Double play as Garcia ran right into the glove of Sandberg.
That's the 10th double play. And this one goes 4-3. Sandberg right there with the tag. Very good play by Rhino. An easy throw to first. And Carex donates $100 to Cubs Care for the 104th double play this year. Good heads up play as Garcia runs right into the tag.
Garcia going to take a look at his left hand. Here's Orlando Merced, 1 for 3, singled and scored back in the 5th inning.
I don't think I would want Pete Incaviglia mad at me for any reason.
No. That might be one of the last guys in baseball I would want upset with me at any level.
Now, you might be able to outrun him, but certainly you wouldn't want to get close to him.
There are a few of those Phillies I wouldn't want upset with me. Dave Hollins, would you like to be on his bad list? How about Darren Dalton? No?
That's a pretty strong team.
How about Schilling? Kruk, Ben Rivera.
Yeah, they got some nice sized fellows over there in Philadelphia. And even the guys you can relate to, the short guys like Lenny Dykstra. Pretty strong man.
Oh, yeah. Sandberg will make the play. And that'll end the inning, so the Pirates do not score. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 8-8 ball game.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is Pepsi. Gotta have it.
Draft beers. You know, some of them are nothing more than rough drafts. So you gotta ask yourself, is your draft as good as Golden? Golden Draft from Michelob. The only one cold filtered and cold finished in the tradition of Michelob for a smooth draft taste. So if perfection is what you're looking for in a draft beer, don't stop at a rough draft. Start holding the golden.
David Hepworth exported baseball jerseys exclusively to Mexico, but now the game and his jerseys are catching on in Russia. Fortunately, AT&T's favorite nation options save him money on the two countries he calls most automatically, like Mexico and Russia, or wherever baseball catches on next. Favorite nation options only from AT&T. Far and away the best in the business.
Hey, nothing like a cold Diet Pepsi on a hot day, huh?
Well, hot is a relative term.
You see, given temperatures rise regardless of mass.
Yet, Galileo observed rising temperatures will decrease with the exposure of the endothermic source.
True, transference will persist until this one irresistible calorie interacts, thus altering the system.
Yeah, take care. See you later.
Maybe we just should have said,
You got the right one, baby.
From a 5-bedroom in the burbs to tent city, how did these families end up homeless in the suburbs? Continuing tonight on the WGN News.
Well, we're back in the bottom of the 6th inning. The first pitch from Blas Minor was a fastball inside. The catcher Slaught missed the ball and it nailed Charlie Relaford.
Well, this was meant perhaps as a little payback for Bob Scanlan hitting Garcia, but the only man paid back was Charlie Relaford. So he's going, wait a second, I didn't throw it at anybody.
Now, do they issue a warning about hitting umpires?
Yes. And John Fierro comes out. Take a look at the elbow of Charlie Relaford.
Well, that had to hurt. I mean, bad.
How about Ben Hines getting hit yesterday off the forearm? The forearm started to bleed and they had a goose egg on it.
Well, Relaford apparently all right, but that was just like a batter right there getting hit flush on the elbow because Slaught never touched the ball. And that one thrown behind Grace. They've thrown Minor out of the game. So now the benches will empty. Somebody Sosa acted like he wanted a piece of Minor, then stopped running. And both teams in front of the mound. And now all of a sudden, Jim Lefebvre very much getting right in the middle of that pack. As they're trying to separate a few of the angrier folks. Derek May right in there. And May came from the on-deck circle. Jim Lefebvre very upset. Now he's acting as peacemaker, trying to get his troops back to the third base side dugout. The first pitch came inside. The next one thrown behind Grace. They threw Minor out of the game and both benches empty. And a few guys aren't quite finished. It's just moving a little bit closer to third base. And Al Martin, the left fielder right there, having to be separated by Ryne Sandberg. Well, Sosa came racing out. He clearly had decided he wasn't going to fight because he sprinted out of the dugout, got about 10 feet from the mound, and there was nobody in front of him. Wait a minute now. Scanlan shouting at John Wehner and Al Martin. And now a few of them getting into it. Looks like a rugby match separating bodies here. Lonnie Smith and Derek May. And now it moves over closer to the dugout. Boy, oh boy, Kevin Young, the man who's trying to mix it up with one of the Cubs. And they had taken 3 or 4 people to get Young out of there. Randy Myers losing his hat in this melee. It didn't look like any punches were thrown and or landed, but it got pretty close, and now they'll start separating people. Lonnie's not going anywhere. And now Jim Lefebvre rather looks to be on the way to have a conversation with somebody.
Well, when we sort this out, we'll see who was ejected from the game and if the manager was ejected also. And as they separate the teams here. Pirates going back to their dugout, their side of the field.
No one left in the dugout. The trainers aren't going to fight one another. They actually get along in this process.
Bench is going back, and now the umpires will meet to see just exactly what's going to come down. And let's watch what we saw with a fastball sailing in back of Mark Grace. It doesn't hit him. And you see right there Charlie Relaford pointing at Blas Minor. And that will probably mean that Minor is ejected from the game.
Jim Lefebvre and Jim Leyland exchanging words there. Just behind home. Mark Grace is waiting to go back up to bat. Leyland will head back for his dugout, and a number of the players on both sides still waiting on the playing field. Well, this whole mess started back in the 6th inning when Carlos Garcia was hit by a pitch from Bob Scanlan. Garcia had homered twice in the game. And now is a payback here with Grace leading off the bottom of the 6th inning. Minor misses high and tight, then throws behind Grace. The bench is emptied. No punches exchanged, and we can only wonder if the managers have been thrown out of the game. Leyland looks like he's headed for the clubhouse tunnel.
Well, even Yosh Kawano came out. Maybe he wanted a piece of the clubhouse man for the Pirates. And Jim Leyland's not going anywhere to this point. Charlie Relaford coming over. He has kicked Blas Minor out of the game. And that'll probably mean that Jim Leyland might also get the boot. And Leyland is a very unhappy man right now.
Well, his team had an 8-2 lead in this game and gave it up. Cubs got 6 in the bottom of the 5th. And Charlie Relaford explaining the situation to Jim Leyland. With a hat off, he's the home plate umpire. And Jim Lefebvre waiting for probably some kind of explanation after this conference with Leyland is over. Hot bats and hot tempers here today at Wrigley Field.
Well, we said, Tommy, it's been a wild one, and certainly there's nothing to choose from with these two teams. 8, 10, and 1 each. Mark Grace was not hit by the ball as it sailed behind him. The first pitch was inside. No warning, nothing given on the first pitch, but when the second pitch went behind him, the intent of Blas Minor at that point was clear. He has been ejected. So that'll mean at the worst a new Pirate pitcher will have to come into the ball game. And Jim Lefebvre just standing there with Derek May to see the resolution of this one.
You know, I almost wonder if Al Martin's been thrown out of this game. He has been, apparently, because Jim Leyland is waving Martin in. He was right in the thick of the action, coming the closest amongst all the Pirates of getting into a brawl with at least one of the Cub players. Leyland will meet with him just behind the mound, while Lefebvre is getting an explanation from the umpire crew, and Martin has indeed been thrown out of the game.
Looks like Lonnie Smith is coming in to take the place of Al Martin. Let's start with a pitch that sails behind Mark Grace. You see Charlie Relaford pointing, and that's when everybody spilled onto the field.
Let's see where Derek May is in all this mix. Right there, he's to the right of your screen, and then as Don Slaught was trying to make peace, May right there in the face of Slaught, and you see Martin, the left-hand side, kind of leaning over. And before too long, Martin will get in it with somebody. He's way back at the left-hand side of the screen.
Well, Tommy, Bob Scanlan has also been ejected. So apparently, after things kind of calmed down, something went on with Bob Scanlan to cause his ejection from this game.
I'm sure it was Martin and Scanlan, the two that came closest to a fight.
Now at this point you'd think all is settled down. And there's Al Martin.
But his role in this whole affair isn't over right there, because it'll move a little bit closer to the Cub dugout with Martin right in the thick of the action. There comes Scanlan, and there is Martin trying to get to him.
Jose Martinez right in the thick of it, as is Jim Leland, and now things start spilling over as tempers really start to flare.
Lonnie Smith, it looked like, almost came to blows with Batista. And then Dave Clark over there having to restrain Kevin Young in front of the Cub dugout. Call them the battling Bucks. Back-to-back days the Pirates have been involved in benches clearing brawls. Yesterday with Philadelphia, today with the Cubs. And then to end it all, Randall Kirk Myers glaring at Dave Clark. Here's where Scanlan got into it. Right there, Kevin Young saying something to him. Dave Clark then having a few words back. So now we're going to get back to playing baseball. Count of 2-0 on Mark Grace. 8-8 game, bottom of the 6th inning. And it's 3 balls and no strikes. Lonnie Smith taking over in left field. Mark
Petkizek.
Knew I'd get it straight there sooner or later. Here's ball 4 to Grace.
So Petkizek comes into the game. He's 2-0. 3.21 ERA, on for the 12th time.
Well, it seems as though there's a fight in baseball at least once, if not twice a week. It's been much debated on what to do to try and put some of those things to an end. I'm not sure anybody has exactly the right answer. Really, the only way you're going to get to some of these players is to hit them in the pocketbook.
And Tommy, as far back as 1980, I talked with Bowie Kuhn, who was then the commissioner, about implementing a third man in rule. And it was at the All-Star game, and I said, if you're interested in doing away with fighting.
Fly ball in the shallow right. This might drop. Garcia, the over-the-shoulder grab. Good play by the Pirates second baseman.
I told him, if you're interested in doing away with fighting, you'll implement a third man in rule. You've got 4 umpires. Usually there's 2 combatants, as you see a fine play by Garcia. Normally one of the combatants does not want to fight, and 4 umpires certainly can handle 2 guys, even 2 good-sized guys. So far in baseball, they have not implemented anything close to a third man in rule. And this is where you see some guys get hurt. Not the 2 combatants normally. You'll see guys flying in from both bullpens, from the dugouts. And that's where the problem starts. So eventually baseball might come around to that, but at least at this point nobody has said anything about trying to eliminate the problem.
Steve Buechele will be the batter. Bob Scanlan has been thrown out of the game, as we mentioned a moment ago. 1 perfect inning, or I take that back, he did hit a batter, but zeros the rest of the way across the board. And Jose Batista will come on to pitch when the Pirates bat in the 7th inning. We're in the bottom of the 6th in an 8-8 game. You know, some people have said about fighting, let the 2 guys who want to fight, just let them get out there and duke it out. Leave everybody else out of it. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's been talked about by some people.
Or, Tommy, there's another way to do it. We're trying to cue up the shot. Maybe another alternative to this. And I think the boys in the truck are coming up with something that we might want to look into.
All right.
Batista continues to loosen up. He will come into the game. If the Cubs do score, Bob Scanlan, who was thrown out of the game, will have a chance to win this one.
1 ball and 1 strike. 1 on and 1 out. Runner goes, pitch out, and Slaught fires down to second. It's in the dirt. And Grace made it safely with a steal.
Mark Grace, who doesn't run often, runs into a pitch out, but he gets such a good jump that he steals his 6th base of the year. He's only been caught 1 time. And Tommy, here's how they should do it. 2 guys with swords just go at it. The winner wins the fight. Maybe that's an idea they should look into. We're going to call it the solution.
2 balls and a strike. The count on Buechele. The go-ahead run is at second base, and now it's 3 balls and a strike with Wilkins waiting on deck. Pat Kizik, a 27-year-old out of Beaumont, Texas. Spent time last year at the major league level with the Texas Rangers. Here's a 3-1 and a high fly ball. Deep left field. Lonnie Smith looks up. Goodbye. Cubs 10, the Pirates 8.
Steve Buechele with 3 driven in today, a 2-run homer, his 9th of the year. Cubs take the lead. Montgomery Ward donates $200 to Cubs Care. And Steve Buechele getting a standing ovation.
Well, this game has seen it all.
That's the 6th home run given up by Pat Kizik in just 14 innings of work. No, check that. That's the 1st home run given up.
So the Cubs lead for the first time in this game. It is 10-8. And we're only in the bottom of the 6th, so don't dare turn your dial. Wilkins is 0 for 3. Wonder which team's losing this game. Two and 0 to Rick Wilkins. Pat Kizik delivers in a ground ball to short. Bell on the first, 2 away.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. Take another look at it. Way back by Steve Buechele. The go-ahead run charged to Blas Minor because the walk was his responsibility, and he is the pitcher of record.
Inside to Sammy Sosa. Later tonight on Channel 9, a man tries to right a wrong from his past by organizing a football game amongst his old high school pals. Robin Williams and Kurt Russell are hilarious in the best of times tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9. High drive way back. This one is long gone. Sammy Sosa, home run number 22. It is 11-8 Cubs, and they trailed this game 8-2 after 4.5.
RBI number 64 as Sammy leads the team, and he hit a towering home run to left field. Montgomery Ward donates yet another $100 to Cubs Care, and that's the 100th home run given up by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Sammy Sosa having quite a year. 17 of his 22 home runs have come at Wrigley Field. So he loves when they're on the home front. I think Sammy not celebrating as much as he otherwise would because he still remembers the play back in the 4th inning. That one lifted down the left field line, a foul ball. So I think Sammy's going to wait a while before doing some big time celebrating.
Well, let's watch the home run one more time as Sammy Sosa Gets one right down the middle and takes it way back. A towering drive. Lonnie Smith looks up and waves bye-bye to that one.
Roberson, a foul ball out of play. It's still 1-2.
Cub fans, after 2 weeks of voting, Mark Grace is still in the lead in the race for the Cubs MVP. Currently, Mark has received 42% of the votes. Wilkins has overcome Sandberg for second place, but it's very close. Your votes benefit WGN-TV's Children Charities and Cubs Care. To vote, call 1-900-820-CUBS. It's $1.45 per call, and all calls proceeds benefit charity. Just be ready with your favorite Cubs uniform number. That's 1-900-820-CUBS.
Kevin Roberson, a perfect day, 3 of 3, 3 runs batted in. But he strikes out this time to end the inning. But the Cubs 3 runs, a couple of hits. We even had a near fight. Harry back in the 7th at the end of 6. 11-8 Cubs.